is Good News Week. Doctors finding many ways of wrapping brains and mental trays to keep us from the heat.
Hey, Vsauce here, Brother Donovan speaking. So, have you ever wondered why so many people are dying from the coronavirus, the Toyota Corolla, the unspeakable disease?
Covid-19!
Covid-19!
What the hell? What? Is that Kenneth Cloven?
I blow the wind of God
The wind of God
on you.
on you.
You are destroyed forever,
You are destroyed forever.
and you will never be back.
And you'll never be back.
Across the world. Well, let's take a look at what is the leading cause of mortality when have contracted the Toyota Corolla. And there is some role, obesity's role in COVID-19 deaths. Big food, slow government to blame. And irresponsible international food industry must shoulder a hefty part of the blame for COVID-19's deadly toll, say the authors of an editorial published yesterday in the BMJ. Moreover, to combat the parallel pandemic of obesity, governments need to step in to force reformulation of food processing food of processed foods and prohibit the promotion of unhealthy eating that is causing so much morbidity and mortality worldwide, they say. Well, isn't that the truth? I think we're like 36% obese in this country, somewhere around there. Tan and colleagues reviewed the evidence to date showing obesity to be an independent risk factor for more severe illnesses and deaths following SARS-CoV-2 infection. These include 428,000 patients cohort study showing that the 340 people requiring hospitalization, 44% were overweight and 34% were obese. Does that mean that the 34% were in that 44%, or is that like a huge percent? There's also the Open Slavery study, which looked at more than 12 million electronic records. Among the 5,603 patients who died, 29% were overweight and 33% were obese. Both studies note Tan. Oh, they're combined because look, both Tan et al. Showed a dose-response relationship between excess weight and disease severity, and Open Slavery, the risk of dying from COVID-19 increased by 27%. That's pretty big, man. It's like 30%. Among these, it's like 50% among these individuals, and was doubling in patients mass with a body mass index greater than 40. Greater than 40 would be a lot. The top causes of death, preventable causes, obesity, to surpass tobacco as top U.S. killer. Americans are eating themselves to death. Soon, this is from newscientist.com. Soon, poor diet and physical inactivity may overtake tobacco as the leading cause of death, according to the U.S. government study. That was 2004, okay? According to the National Institute of Health, obesity and overweight together are second leading cause of preventable death in the United States, close behind tobacco. No date. The three most common preventable causes of death in the population of the United States are smoking, high blood pressure, and being overweight. For decades, smoking has killed. This is 2008. Killed more people than obesity. In the year 2000. For instance, 18.1% of deaths in the United States could be attributed to tobacco usage, and 16.6% were connected to obesity. Nowadays, though, obesity represents the greater threat to public health. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Why does smoking help you poop? This type of laxative is known as a stimulant laxative because it stimulates the contraction that pushes stool out. Many people feel nicotine and other common stimulants like coffee and cocaine and crack. Oh wait, I didn't say that, but I could just, affect the bowels, causing an acceleration of bowel movements. Not interesting. Okay, so my BMI, I'm usually between 160. Actually, you know what? I grabbed a scale because I did this earlier, and my cat ran in, and like, I don't know what he did. Fuck that mac and cheese. Put it on. Okay, I'm going on a diet. I'm like pushing 180. I'm like 175. So I'm 6'1", 175. Oh, shit. I am like 24.5. Oh my god, I am 0.5 BMI overweight. But here's the thing. I hurt my foot, and I was on crutches for a week, and I didn't do nothing for a whole week. And literally at work, I got good excuses. It's COVID-19's fault. COVID-19 made me fat as fucking plan the whole time. I had to close down the food at work, and now I got these little fucking pastries, those little vending machine pastries, and they just sit there. They just sit under that wonderful glowing UV light, just
Melting that frosting just enough to stick on that plastic, and it seeps through to my eyeballs, and it says, "Eat me a frosting, they're delicious." And we got the cherry ones, and we got the cinnamon ones, and we even got the motherfucking cheese, Danish.
So there's your BMI chart, and if you're above 40, which is pretty awesome. So if you're in the 40 area, that's extremely obese. So I imagine, this percentage goes up because whatever. So we're 6'1". I would have to be, I don't know, like over 300 pounds. Over 300 pounds. See, at 6 foot, doesn't even show it. There's 40. 5'11" would be 290 pounds. I'm assuming I'm gonna be like 300, 310. So I'd have to be 310 pounds. But I'm not even that far off, man. There's 200, 120. I'd be like 130 pounds. I'm like, oh shit, that's like another me almost. Okay, so whatever. Coronavirus, COVID-19, obesity. Obesity-related conditions seem to worsen the effects of COVID-19. Indeed, the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention reported that people with heart disease and diabetes are at high risk of COVID-19 complications. If you're diabetic, you're at a high risk of losing your fucking foot. Given the extremely high rates of obesity around the globe, we expect that a high percentage of the population who will contract coronavirus will also have a BMI over 25. Furthermore, persons with obesity who become ill and require intensive care present challenges in patient management, as it is more difficult to intubate patients with obesity. I've heard this, and I've heard doctors complain about this. If sometimes for a simple surgery that would usually take 10 minutes, they'd be in and out in 10 minutes. If you're obese, and if you're really obese, they literally just sometimes just can't do it. They can't even help you, because it's just and this doctor was being crude, and he said over time he just became this way about obesity, because it's it pisses you off because you want to help this person, but they're sitting there and they're holding the scalpel with their teeth because they're pulling, they're fighting, and they're sweating, and they're in there for 2 hours, and they're like, dude, I couldn't do it, close them back up. And then that sucks, man. And he was pretty pissed off about it. It's a big fucking problem, man. When you want to help someone and they're just so obese you can't, that would really upset me if someone I loved and I had to pull them out of a burning building, and I'm like, dude, I can't, you're too big. I don't know. I'd find a way. I guess I could carry a 300-pound man. I could drag him. I don't know. What's this? This lady said something. Obesity and coronavirus. Healthy you. The COVID-19 unprecedented challenges around the world apart from the health risk of coronavirus and the food we eat. No shit. The food we eat kind of prevents challenges for you on a daily basis. The way we work and how physically active we are have all been changed and impacted in ways hardly imaginable only a few months ago. That article is just too hard to read, so I had to insert something else here. The other day, I was just kind of like, there's some baseballs people, and I was kind of joking around like, hey, baseball's for people who just aren't athletes, and a guy was like, oh, whatever, and I'm like, I would probably be really good at baseball, because it's I mean, like, have you ever seen a baseball team, and like, there's a good majority of them that are like overweight, and they're chewing tobacco, and they can't even run all the way around. They gotta like divide it by bases and like take breaks part of the way through. And the only time they actually fucking score is when they hit a home run, and they can all just walk around and shit. And it's the only sport I know, like, if you're just too tired to freaking hit a ball, you can just call someone else in to fucking hit it. Like, you just go away and hit it for me, and then maybe I'll run. I don't know how that shit works. Baseball. It's baseball. But here, hold on. No, pause. Oh yeah. Okay, so Major League Baseball's players have become overwhelmingly overweight and obese during the last quarter century. Around 1991, the average player's BMI began to rise, and over the past 25 years, nearly 80% of players fall into the overweight or obese category of BMI above 25. Okay, I gotta look into this just for a second. Because if you don't know, it looks like they're allowing baseball. Like, we can't do, like, have a business to earn an income and to, like, get medicine and food or whatever, like those freedom things. But we can have baseball, which is like America's dead pastime. So, the 2020 MLB season is set to begin later this week under the shadow of the coronavirus pandemic. The pandemic and the shadows. The pandemic, which led to the delay and the shortening of the season, will keep fans out of the stands and will be constant worry throughout the 60-day campaign. This is a test run for my ASMR channel. I'm going to start, and I'm going to read the news, and I don't have a pop filter. I had a pop filter, and when I got it, I realized that pop filters are really stupid. So I think it's just going to be my gimmick that I don't have. It's going to be a non-pop filter ASMR channel. And if you, and then every once in a while, I'm just going to drop my mic, and you'll be like, oh my god. And then I'll come back. I'm just going to read the news. And it's gonna, so then down below in the description will be a link to my ASMR non-pop filter readings of the news. Okay, thank you. Recent reports have suggested that obesity is one of the underlying health conditions that can cause more severe reaction to Covie-19 infection. More severe reaction to it. This is significant given to the majority of adults in England are overweight or obese. What? And indeed, worldwide, around 1.9 million adults are living with overweight and obesity. Given these extremely high rates of obesity around the globe, it's possible the pandemic could disproportionately impact those who are overweight or obese. Well, let me get this. So it's saying that, oh my gosh, this is bad. Just come on. Our diet fucking sucks in America, okay?
What did it say? Who's won that race? What's the weather like today? It's Good News Week. Lots of blood in Asia now. They've butchered off the sacred cow. They've got a lot to eat. It's Good News Week. Doctors finding many ways of wrapping brains and metal trays to keep us from the heat.